Hi, everybody. Welcome to June's Animals message for the month. I am really, really excited about this one. This one feels very light and bright, and at the same time gives us space to do more inner work, to work more deeply with our animals, to find out who we really are. What is this authenticness that we are striving to work towards? I hate to say achieve because that brings an attachment to the outcome, and we're not trying to do that along our journey. We're just here to explore and to understand who exactly we are in a little bit more detail. Actually, this reminds me, I was talking with Karen and Meredith yesterday. We were recording an episode of the podcast, and I brought up that the soul level lesson that animals are working with us on can be done in chapters. So there may be like an overarching larger lesson. Like Lucas for me is trust. There's a whole lot of things with trust, but he does so in chapters so that I complete a chapter. And I think Karen may have said I think it was Karen that said, well, if you look at all of our lifetimes, because if you're talking from a reincarnation perspective, every life is a chapter. So I thought that was also super interesting. And I digress. However, it leads me to this month's animal message as well. So if you remember, last month, May was stillness. The month before that was intolerance. Before that, we had accept. And some of these were sometimes a little hard to handle, right? Accept was hard to handle for me. Intolerance was a little, oh boy, there was some deepness there. February was B, January was faith, and it's also the theme for the entire year. And what I thought was super interesting was in the month of May, a friend of mine, Lily Gattaca, and I will put a reference to her post in this post as well. I met her in my astrology class. She's a fabulous therapist. She posted on Substack that faith is an acronym for feelings are invitations to heal. And I thought that was amazing because that felt like such a better definition of the word. Because if you remember from January, faith was a word I personally was struggling with just because of all the religious connotations and everything that can go around with it. Regardless, this little invitation, I thought, oh, that's really cool. I really liked that. And included it and wanted to include it in today's conversation. So if as we're looking at June for the animals message for this month, it's curious or curiosity, whichever way you want to go. But even being curious with that distinction too, you can do. And what I love about it is that all the messages so far this year have really set us up to be in a place where now we can open up to being curious. What is it that's going on around us? What is it that's lighting us up? What's inspiring us? What's causing a little bit of friction? And I'm pointing to my heart chakra, but actually for me right now, there's some friction going on around some different modalities that I'm studying, and it just can feel a little uncertainty, a little in my belly down in my solar plexus. And so it's like, but I'm curious about it. Like, what is that? What is happening with that? And what's also interesting is Lucas, of course, is helping me do this too. We do this on a daily basis with our walks, but our walks have become even more slower paced. We've taken an even more like the stillness route, right? Like we'll stop many more times on a walk than usual to observe in stillness. And at the same time, he's starting to open up the door to that curiosity. Oh, what is he sniffing? What is all of that? Oh, let me see what he sees. And even what does that stir in me? So know that where we've been so far this year are all stepping stones. They're all chapters to what we're all individually working on as well as collectively, because my individual work also leads to the broader collective work, and same for all of you, which is why the animals are so helpful in helping us do this work, because they're part of the collective. They're also part of this unconditional love, and they're here to help us, to support us as we could turn around and help and support them too. And I say can because some humans choose not to. And I'm hoping that more of us do. And I'm curious in how I can help make that happen as well. So from a curious perspective, from an animal's message for June perspective of being curious, how is your animal fostering curiosity in you? That doesn't mean, I will say, that every behavior that they do is going to be positive and lovely. I had a client yesterday whose dog is pooping and peeing in her house, and she wants them to stop. And there's more there that the dog is asking her to do, to be curious about herself. So anytime your animal is doing something behavior wise, good or bad, and there is a feeling, an emotion that comes with it, much to the faith, right? Feelings are invitations to heal. What is it that's coming up for you? Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. What's your animal doing from a behavior perspective? What are they even doing from a health perspective? Are they doing things that causes, I know for me, Lucas will do things, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's sick. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And anticipatory grief comes up. Like there's a whole lot of things that come up, but why is he doing that? Well, I know part of it is because I worry too much. And so he's trying to help me worry. But for me to be curious about all of the things that happen between us, around him, with the animals out in the yard. I had a mother doe in my yard all morning this morning, and I'm hoping there's a fawn nearby, but I was more curious about even how her presence was making me feel, which was very calm and very welcoming and very grateful that she felt safe to stay in my yard for as long. I mean, she was there for a good half hour. She was right outside my bedroom window. It was lovely. And even Lucas and I walked right past one today. She didn't startle, and we didn't scare her. We didn't bother her. But even to be curious about that quiet, peaceful, still exchange, um, there's information in there for us and for me to be able to move things forward from an authentic perspective. So when we're looking at curious, think about the things that transpire. And even if you're angry about what happens, dive a little deeper, be curious with that anger. Many times, particularly in our culture, and particularly for humans that identify as female, we're taught to not be angry and to suppress that. But anger is actually a friend, that there's a whole lot underneath that. So use that anger to be curious about what's going on. Be curious about what's actually inspiring you. Be curious as you go through your day and you're realizing, I really don't want to do that right now that I had as the number one thing on my to-do list. I'm feeling more inclined to do this right now. Be curious with that. Allow yourself to kind of go back and forth and see, why there are going to be days where that may not be the top thing on your list, but it's the thing that if you accomplish it or take care of it, actually make you feel really good. It can rejuvenate you. And that's where we're trying to go. That's how the animals are helping us do this. And that's how the divine is helping us too. We want to stay in the state of flow, but we need to be curious. We also need to do that stillness practice that we had. We also need to figure out the intolerance, the being, the accepting, and faith. So they're all kind of working together to come to help us uncover who we really are with our animals, coaching and supportive help. Let's see, what else? I wanted to make sure, be curious about all of them. Be curious about stories that you tell yourself about situations, even about yourself. They may no longer be serving you. So how is your animal bringing those forward? Lucas has been doing that a lot for me as well lately. It's so fascinating to notice that I'm also a little tongue in cheek about it, because sometimes it's not so fun. And yet sometimes it can be really like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was continually preventing myself from moving ahead by thinking, oh, I can't reach out to so-and-so, or I could never think to do that. Those are all stories we tell ourselves. So be curious about those too. Nothing here is to be judgy for you. Nothing is here to hold you in condemnation. Nothing is here to be nasty to you. It's more just really about being inquisitive and curious and open, and allowing yourself to open up to all of that and all that is. Even be curious with, co-creating, if you will, either co-creating with other humans, co-creating with your animals, co-creating with the divine. What we're here to do that. What does that all mean for you? I'm so curious to hear, even from all of you, what all this sparks with you. We've got astrology that is helping us. We just had a new moon in Gemini. We've got a Mercury Cazimi on the day right now that I am recording this. There are new things that are coming. There are new chapters to be had. There are new ways to be. What does that mean for you? Where can you be curious and start to play with some of that that's coming up for you? So be curious this month. I know I sound like a Vikings longship app, but still be curious, play with curiosity, work with your animal all month, even if your animal's still in spirit. connect with your animal, take some moments of stillness and just being who you are and connecting and saying, what is it that I need to know? Where do I need to go? What am I curious about? What's coming up for me? And do all of that type of stuff with them as you move through the month of June. All right. So curious and animal messages for June. Now, I will say too that don't forget, we meet monthly for the animal messages for June, and we're doing a new format where I will be asking your animals for those that show that are there, that are for paid subscribers. For those that are there, I'll be connecting with your animal to find out how they're helping you develop that curiosity, be more curious, and open all that up. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. I'll put the date and time and all that in the notes below, and we will see you soon. Have a really good time in June being curious.